I taught you to read.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're right. Your mama did teach me better. And, sorry about that. Mr. Morgan from the ABC board, thank you for coming.
Thank you, as well.
Hopefully mine won't be as fine bothered.
We have
Only
somebody
need to
to
figure out
You
how.
got waiver.
You got the waiting
People in
room?
the waiting room.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to figure out how to.
I do not.
Minimum.
All right, good evening. First of all, thank you for letting me be here. We want to bring you up to speed a little bit on ABC, clarify any questions might have been, talk a little bit about where we are, a little bit less of where we were, a whole lot more about where we're going. So let's see here, just click. Currently, the ABC store is debt free. We have full borrowing capacity up to 750K. Okay. Depends on the interest rates as they fluctuate, but right now, currently, the ABC board can walk in and borrow $750,000. Okay. When we started this project, we projected annual sales at this time to be approximately 1.3 million. We just went 2.6 this past year. Okay. So it's twice what we thought it would be. How is money distributed to the town? Well, you rent, 3.5% bottle tax, a law enforcement distribution, and an alcohol education distribution. Law enforcement contract has just been recently signed as a better contract with Marshville PD. And the alcohol education money goes directly to the town council for you to distribute as the attorney works with y'all back and forth. The only thing we ask, we're required to know how you distribute that money. That way we can keep it for our revenue. Not the interpretation of how you need to do that. Mr. Griffin and the ABC Commission need to work together to figure that out. Okay. That way you're getting the town attorney's impression. Since our inception, 175 plus with rent. Currently the rent is $4,000 a month. Total law enforcement distribution to Marshville PD is just north of 24,000. Alcohol education is 34. 3.5% bottle tax is 187 with total funding to the town of 421,838. What you save by having an all volunteer board. The board is authorized to make $150 per meeting. We went back and counted up all the meetings that we were doing 2 a month and traveled back and forth to Raleigh, plus all the accounting fees that are donated by Ms. Balmer. And that is how much the town is saved by the volunteer board. So between the working volunteer board, people at staff, the ABC board push a little over $550,000 into the town. Okay. Oh, back. I'll go back half.
You can actually.
Help me. There we go. There we go. Okay.
You can just.
Working, okay. Look at her. Look at her. You good? Thank you. Working capital. Okay. When it comes to distributions, North Carolina General Assembly set forth General Statute 18B805 that the ABC board must retain working capital in order to provide financial security of the store. Okay. That right now we currently fall between basically 80,000 and 516. That is calculated at every year at each year's audit. Okay. It's sort of a sliding scale based on sales. And our yearly audit just should be coming up right after the financial year is over. Okay, but that's where we fall. Once you go past 516 money, the ABC board cannot keep any more money. Okay. Where the money went in 2023? Hold on, let's see what I do with them. X.
There you go.
All right. Gross, okay, this was last year, 2022, 2023. You sit back at the end of the year and you make $100,000 or $50,000, you wonder where it all went? Well, let me explain where $2.6 million went last year. Almost $600,000 went to the people in Raleigh.
Yeah, just at the.
Cost of goods sold. What we purchased from the warehouse was $1.5 million. Okay. So you look at store expenses. Let's go over them a little bit so you have an idea of what they were. 156 worth of, out of that 251, 156,000 was salaries, 33.5 was rent, payroll taxes a little over 13, utilities a little over 8,000, computer and internet's 5, and let's see, we did about $11,000 in repairs to the building. That included trimming all the trees, landscaping, some mechanical roof work by Steel Mechanical, and trying to remember what the other one was. I just can't remember off the top of my head. The next one, administrative expense at $56.78, 41,000 of that is credit card fees, banking fees, where we charge it in POS. The rest of it were professional fees such as audits. We paid off our entire debt district, our debt services paid off. We did it in an innovative way. There are actually bourbon clubs that will want you to buy an entire barrel of bourbon. They will go up there and pick it out. They send it to the warehouse. We write the check and it's an automatic sale. It usually costs you $5,000, you make $5,000 in profit. So that's how we worked around that to help pay off the debt service so we could position this store for the future. Okay, 3.5% bottle tax. We did not know as a board about the 3.5% bottle tax until last year. So we went back and recalculated it. In 2019, there's no bottle tax due as we were operating at a loss. Okay. 2020, 2021, respectively 30,000 and 41,000. That money was used to purchase more inventory to improve the financial status of the store. In our discussions with the ABC Commission, they don't expect startup stores to even consider that. Most appointing authorities and the ABC board have an agreement until they get set up, get their debt service done, that's not collected. We didn't even know about it to even come to you about it. In the future, town council, ABC board can negotiate out that, or they can move forward and try to figure out how we're going to handle the future growth. It's totally up to you.
That's owed to the town currently.
So to the people, yeah, that's right. All right. So last meeting, the ABC board requested $20,000 setback capital outlay. I understand there was discussion about software shelving and basically square footage. So what is the best path forward to increase the financial returns to the taxpayer? Well, let's take this apart. When we first started this venture, we were told that we would not create customers just by having a store, that the customers were here. And that gave us the idea to look at the census, project it forward based off a community of our size with a bypass ending around a metropolitan area. Our projections for 2024 was, at that time, the zip code population 28103 was 10,800. We projected it forward to 2024, and it was showing approximately 22 to 24,000 people. There was a variable in that called COVID. Nobody saw that coming. Well, I believe you're starting to see it coming now. Okay, you've got Taylor Ridge, you got Redford Place, and anybody with access to a computer and GIS can easily figure where there's going to be more. Okay, so if we're taking our population now and doubling it, we have to have a forward-looking way of adding on to that store to increase sales in order to return the maximum amount to the citizens. Right? You can't understand it until you understand our line of supply. Lines of supply are not linear. It's not sitting in Raleigh with somebody going, Marshville ABC is going to get this. We're going to look after them. That's not the way it works. LB&B in Raleigh is run by a contractor that contracts with the state of North Carolina. All the distillers bring their product there. The deliveries are every 2 weeks. What makes our store different is that management team. They get up early in the morning and they look what's available. And they say, okay, we don't need this right now, but we know we're going to need it in 2 months. And Maurice and his staff have figured out his customer base. For example, Hennessy, certain other things are in high demand. Okay. And if it isn't at the warehouse when he needs it, then he's not going to get it. The worst enemy this store has is empty shelves. We went through that in 2020 and 2021 while we were learning. Okay. That is why Marshville is successful. You see these people standing out there in front of that store, there's a reason for it. Okay, so we're looking at software, shelving, or square footage. This is our second set of software that we have. Okay, it is the most up-to-date software inventory management system in the state. We were one of the first ones to jump on it when it came available. It has POS. It can tell us exactly what's brought in. Maurice can tell exactly what he has. So in my opinion, software is not the solution to this problem. I don't think there's a better software program available. Shelving. Since Stephanie and I had signed for that money, when we figured the best way we can save as much money is to look outside the box. When we first were approved by the ABC Commission to put in a store, they said, here's a list of shelving suppliers. And the cheapest bid we got was $30,639 for shelving. So what we did is we took their floor plan and we wound up buying used shelving for $2,600. So we're still using this same floor plan. Maurice and them have played Jenga, I don't know how many times, with shelves trying to squeeze in more stuff. Okay. The other part of it, square footage. Okay. I know there was a question, how much does $20,000 if we set it aside in capital outlay actually cost the taxpayer? Town taxpayers only eligible for 12% of the distributions. Okay. So you take $20,000 to set back in capital outlay, it's only going to reduce the town's distribution by $2,400. It's the cheapest money you're going to buy. Okay. Currently, Wingate ABC has a $500,000 setback waiting on capital outlay. And they're right up the road. Okay. They were preparing to build a new store when we showed up on the street. Okay. Anson County went Anson County ABC, county-wide ABC because of the proposed casino. So you've got two of them on both sides of us that if we don't grow, they very well could. And at that point, we lose income in the store. Okay. Next steps. These are what we recommend. Give us till 1 July to investigate additional shelving. Then at 1 July, if we can't come up with a solution, if we think there's going to be long-term and improved, then we come back to the town council and say, we investigated it. We don't think this is a solution. Take this $20,000 that we set aside and use that for the planning purposes. It allows you to fund it. If it costs less than that, then you get that much money back. Okay. And we think those are the best two options to work with. And that's up for y'all to decide. We sort of need to know that by our meeting at the end of this month. Okay. That way we can work on our budget. Present it to the state by this one, when we have to have that up there. June 1st. June 1st.
All right. Are there any questions of Mr. Morgan or Ms. Balmer while they're here before we talk about it? Anything that you've seen or might have a question about?
I think we had some pretty good discussion at our last meeting about, like you had mentioned, hey, we spend $20,000 a week. This is money. We're just going to basically allow them to research other options, the shelving options, the square footage, engineering, all of that. you know, I completely agree that we should give them the $20,000, let them pursue routes to expand their business and keep the revenue that the town is receiving, not only consistent, but increasing. So,
And Mr. Morgan, to make sure I understand the math right, what you're saying is you're asking for the permission to set aside the 20,
That is correct.
but
In our budget,
then the net that would have the maximum net that would have ended up to the town would only be $2,400.
you're eligible for 12% of that through the law enforcement alcohol.
So we're only giving up
$2,400.
$2,400. Okay.
I wish we saw this earlier.
Got it now.
Yeah.
Which is why he's here.
Wish we saw
He
it.
can explain it better than I can, so.
So what you're asking first is step one, step two, if this doesn't work, then the 20,000.
Okay.
Is that
What
what,
we have to know, Ms. Ernestine, is
I know for budget purposes.
for budget
Yeah,
purposes,
I,
we need y'all's permission. The part of the budget that y'all actually control are capital outlays. Okay. We have to ask our appointing authority for permission to set aside capital outlay for any kind of improvement. Okay. All right. Keep in mind, year before that, we spent $11,000 just maintaining the building.
And the other opposite side of the coin is if it's our building and we wanted to investigate it, it costs us $20,000 in real dollars.
What it would cost you, it would cost the taxpayers $20,000.
Right, that's what I mean.
This way is costing the consumer $20,000.
Right.
Because it's his money that's coming in.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Some of them might be citizens. A
Yeah,
lot of them are
but
passing down the
it's
aisle.
kind of future dollars.
That's right. And then this way, if the town council, we say, need to add on to the store, need to add on the store to stay competitive. You see how much money we brought forth to the town so far. Those two developments are almost gonna be as close to Winged as they are Marshville. And if we don't have a suitable size store to have the stuff on the shelves, then they'll just go up the street and then we lose money. So the long run concept is if you said it takes $400,000 to add on to the store, whatever. Well, the consumers are the one that are paying for it. It's not the taxpayers because the people are buying the product there. And at the same time, if you do $400,000 improvement to your building, okay, the taxpayers are benefiting from that also. It's staying in their hands. Okay, it's just not in a liquid form. It's in an asset in a real estate form.
Right, you're improving a town-owned building by $400,000 that we get to keep at the end of the day.
So whoever you get to investigate the shelving, the company or whatever, will we know who's doing it?
Well, there's 3 or 4 shelving suppliers that specialize with ABC. We'll reach out to them and report back to you what we hear. Okay? But I don't have a lot of faith in extra shelving right now because shelving is inventory versus cubic square feet. Okay, and you can only go so high, all right? And you can't ask employees to lift stuff so high. And currently we're having to reduce inventory for a short time until we get caught up Memorial Day. This store is different than everywhere else. Most stores are either from October to New Year's or they're beach stores, but because of that bypass out there, we're from May to New Year's Eve. Okay. So it's a different kind of store. We just need, and you don't, all you gotta do is send word to us, let us know, hey, we'll allow you to do this, whatever. And we can just at the end of our May meeting.
But as this is our main voting.
So we can make a motion
Yeah, we
to approve the
need-
$20,000, correct?
Yeah, I would assume that the floor can be open for that. I mean,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ABC board's request for $20,000 that we've talked about over the last 3 weeks.
second,
we have a motion and a second to allow the Marshville ABC board to allocate $20,000 in capital outlay expenditure for the investigation process of additional square footage. That is the motion, correct?
Yes.
All right, any questions or discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we gonna add the first part of that to it too?
I think they're willing to do that.
No, I think I wanna add.
Put it in the
motion.
motion,
I want
Okay.
a part of the motion.
So I'm going to amend my motion to
include
approve the
step,
$20,000, but also include Marshville ABC Board investigating additional shelving options and report to us no later than July 1st of this year.
Second.
motion and second on the floor as amended. Any other questions or discussion? All right, therefore I'll assume you're therefore ready to vote. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, like sign. I assume it's a 5-0 vote, correct, Ashley?
Thank you.
Thank
Got
you.
one more thing,
Oh, okay,
Oh, forget.
all right.
and it doesn't have to do anything with money. We've set you up a perfect store. Debt-free, got the best management staff in this area. But all things don't last forever. We have some board vacancies coming up. And we're trying to stagger these so we maintain a quorum and give you time to recruit new members. I strongly wish that you will see Maurice and log into the ethics course that we have to take. That way you're familiar with what we operate under when you go to pick new members. Mr. High has battled significant health problems and is doing well, but it's tiring. Miss Patty's been with us from the get-go. It was me, Miss Dora, Mr. Olin, Miss Patty, and Miss Ballmer. We did it from the get. Mr. Prince has fought and defeated cancer and is now working full-time and doesn't feel like he could give full-time and duty to it. And as much as I'd like to stay and see this go, folks, there's something else that's really personal to me that I gotta take care of. And that's gonna be building that Veterans Park. There's only so much time I've got free about. So I'd like to see all y'all on November the 11th when we dedicate that new park. And you're totally welcome, but they asked me to lead that up, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Bob, do you care to comment on any criteria for board members? I mean, how does?
The biggest thing I'd say, Larry.
Yeah.
Is ethics,
Okay,
ethics, okay?
but there's no geographic restrictions, city
Not that we
limits,
know
not,
of.
I mean,
No, we know.
okay,
You will see how important ethics are. When they get on that board, they'll get a lot of pressure to do certain things, and they've got to understand not to do it. That's why there's lines out there in front of that store. But always available to answer any questions.
is that something your board advertises or is the town advertised?
What the ethics,
No.
y'all are the appointing authority.
Okay, so I guess you're saying we would notify folks that we have vacancies coming up on these dates.
That is correct. I can't juggle two things at the same time. Other than that, if there's no more questions, I'm gonna leave that thumb drive, that's the
Yeah, that'd
only
be
thing on it,
wonderful.
and you can print all the copies you want for them.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for letting me serve. I
Do
appreciate
you
it.
have any recommendations? For the board?
As far as who do,
Do you have any recommendations as far as the vacancies? I know we're gonna have to put it out and ask for.
Does anybody express interest? No.
yes, thankless job. Y'all ought to know that.
Well, this is the
Oh, yeah,
first time.
yeah.
I'm hearing of the
Yeah,
vacancy,
well,
so.
We discussed it. Veterans Park's picking up. It's time for some new leadership.
Do you know when that ethics, course is gonna be?
You can, it's actually an online course, Mom.
Stephanie, you're staying on, right?
Okay.
You better.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You said just reach out to Maurice.
Yeah, you go see Maurice and the ABC board will give you a link
Okay.
that you can go to and take the course. Okay. That's one of the things we're proudest of is the ethics of this board. Trying to make sure everything's done right. Okay?
And Frank and Ashley, all I'd add is those dates are not far away at all. So if we have advertisements on Facebook, town website, whatever, I would suggest we please do that post haste.
Is there gonna be an interview process for that or some sort of, is it just?
That's gonna be from the office.
Get all the fun
Get it
stuff.
taken.
All right, any other questions of Mr. Morgan or Ms. Barner?
Thank you.
Again, thank you very much for your time.